Bismillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the IDN Weekday Technology Talk series. How are you guys? I hope you're all feeling good, healthy, and in a great mood today. Let me introduce myself really quick. I'm Lubna from 8th grade, and I'll be your host for this week's session. Today, we're gonna dive into a super fun topic: make it move, masking in Jitter. And yes, we have a special speaker joining us, Khansa Kamila from 8th grade. Before I get to Khansa, here's a quick hands up about today's flow. We will start with the opening and introduction, and then on we'll move on to the Q&A session. So stay tuned. All right, no need to wait any longer. Let's give it up for our speaker today. Khansa, the time is yours. Hello, Khansa. How do you feel today? Iya. Okay, sorry everyone for the bad connection. So I'll repeat. Hello, Khansa. How do you feel today? Like, jump, 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 jump. Sorry everyone, because Khansa have a bad connection, so I think we must wait for the Khansa first.
Sorry everyone. Before I had a really bad connection, but I think now it's gonna be fine for me. And anyway, Lubna, thank you for asking. I'm feeling perfectly fine. And how about you?
Pretty good. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Are you excited to share what you know with everyone at Weekday Technology Talk?
Of course I am, because in this occasion, I will teach you guys, I will show you guys some of my knowledge.
Okay, Khansa, you can introduce yourself first, and the time it's yours.
So, hello everyone. My name is Khansa Kamila. I'm from 8th grade of IDN boarding school, what? And in this occasion, I would like to show you guys a tutorial of how to make a masking animation in Jitter. So now we'll get into the tutorial first. So, first thing, we're going to go to your Figma file, prepare a Figma file first, and then we're gonna make a frame for our animation scene, and then you can just pick any frame. But in here, I prefer 1080 times 1080, so it's 1:1 ratio. And you can literally design anything in here. Like you could put some decorations, patterns, or maybe some text. So what you gotta prepare is a background or maybe a blank white space like this, also fine, and also the object that you want to you want to use for the mask reveal for later. So you could first make it in Figma first, but in here I have already prepared the file in the Jitter file. So it's pretty much like this. So like just a background and also the object that you want to show for later. But the first thing I want to introduce you all to the Jitter tools first. So I also forgot. If you have already designed the frame that you've made, you could press Control and then P on your keyboard and then search a plugin named Jitter. Press this one and there will be a floating windows like this. Then you could choose the frame, click on the frame that you want to export, that you want to use for your animation, and then press the copy button like this. it's gonna take a while. I think it's taking too long, but as soon as the loading finish, there will be an option that to open file in Jitter, and if you press on that button, it will automatically make a new jitter for your frame. So in here, I just use the file that I have already prepared before. It's just a squares pattern and also a text that I'll be revealing with the masking. So these are what jitter looks like. So I'll be explaining the tools one by one. So the first thing on the top left of your screen, you're gonna see like something like a frame with a play button on the middle. And then if you hover your mouse to the button, it will display something called add an output. And if you press on it, it will add a new scene. So scene is like your frame. You're gonna work inside of the scene. You're gonna animate things inside of the scene, and you could customize your scene to however you like it, from the resolution 720 or 1080, or maybe the size of dribble shot, Twitter post, Instagram story, and other things like phones and also desktop and also an iPad. And then if you want to really customize it by pixels, you could also set the size here. So you could input any number. Well, let's say we want to make it 1,000. And then the width of the scene will be 1,000 pixels. And then this one, maybe we want to make it like 800. So the height of our a scene will be 800. And the position, it's just the position of the frame inside of our file. So it actually didn't really matter that much. And then so we have fill. It's like the background of the scene. You could turn it off or turn it on, and you can also change the color. You could use a solid color, or maybe you want to make it like gradients with two colors, something like this. Or maybe you could use a radial, make it like a circle gradient. So you're free to decide what background you want to use and what colors you want to use. And also here we have the duration. The duration is just the duration of your scene, of the things that you will be working inside of the scene. How long will it be going? And for the next one, we have the text layer. So if you press on this, it will automatically add a text. And you could customize the content and then the position in the scene, the size of the frame of the layer, and also the angle. You can turn it around to whatever you like to, and you could decide what font do you want to use. There's pretty much a lot of variations, and you could even add your own custom font. And then you could also choose the style from thin to bold, or maybe with italic and other stuff like that. Then next you have the text alignment. You can decide whether your text will be centered or maybe from the left to right or from right. And then there's also a vertical line and also author size. And then there's line height. Uh, with this, it's usually when you have two layers of text and you wanna make the distance between the top one with the bottom one maybe further or even closer. Maybe as close as 50 or as far as 250. It's all up to you. And you can also uh, decide the spacing of each letter. So the more percentage it is, the more spacing will your text have. And then you could also decide the case, whether you want it all capital or maybe all lowercase. And then there's just the opacity. There's just the opacity of your layer and maybe some effects on it and color. You can decide what color you want to use. And then next you have the stroke. You could decide the outer layer of your text. And then we have shadow to add some shadow on the text. And then you also have some blur, layer blur, background, and also glass effect. But we're just gonna move on to the next one, which is the rectangle. When you press this, it will add a rectangle layer, and you can also decide the size of it, the positions of it, and also the angles of your rectangle. Then you could also uh, decide the corner radius of your rectangle. Maybe we want to make it like 32 or something. And then obviously we get to decide the color of our rectangle. Then the stroke, as in the text layer, the blur, the layer blur, background blur, glass, and shadow is all pretty much the same with the text layer before. And then the next one we have an ellipse. An ellipse is pretty much, it doesn't really have a big difference. It's just the shapes is different, but the settings are not. Just a little bit of difference. So here there's a donut option. If you increase the percentage of the donut, maybe like 50 or something, it will add a hole on the middle of it. And if you maybe decrease the sweep percentage, maybe you want it like 70%, you could make it look like it's kind of cut. And also you can decide the start angle of the sweep. And then pretty much like before, we have the opacity, some effects, and then the color of it, stroke, shadow, and also some blurs. So we're just gonna skip the star one because it's pretty much the same. And then we have the image option. With the image option, we could import any image you like into your Jitter file. And we have the factor, the pen tool. With the pen tool, you can customize the shape that you want in your animation. You can just customize it and maybe fill it, set the color to line R or maybe radial, add some stroke, change the color and other stuff like that. And then maybe that's all for the introduction of Jitter. So now we're going to start our masking animation. So as you can see, I have a background here, one background and one object that I want to reveal. So what I want is for the text to be hidden on the first second, and then there will be an ellipse moving around and will show the text. So I have an example for it. As you can see, the ellipse moves around and the text will only show the part of it that is collided with the ellipse. So in order to make that, we're going to add an ellipse layer to our scene, and you could resize it or put it anywhere first, and the color wouldn't really matter that much or whatever, because we're just gonna use this for masking. You could decide the size or the position where you want it to be at first, and then the next step is to make sure that the text layer is on top of the ellipse layer. So, and then you could select both of the layer, the text one and also the ellipse, and then by pressing shift when clicking on both layers, and then click on your right mouse button, and there will be some options like this, and then you could see an option called mask. And as you press it, the ellipse will disappear and the text will only show its part of where the ellipse was located. So it's pretty much like this. And then you could just set the position once more, and we're gonna go to the animate section here, and then the first thing I want to do is add a new animation, add custom, and add move. And as you can see, there's an arrow on it, so there's also a dot here, so you drag the dot to wherever you want the ellipse to move to. So let's say I want to reveal around here, and then you could just put it here, and this is the starting point, this is the ending point of the animation. So you could see your animation, you could check it. Pretty much like that. You should customize it more, and then maybe and after that we add a new animation on the ellipse again to move it further to show more of our text. So I'm just gonna move it here and then add a new animation again, add scale and scale it. You can scale it up to any number you want, but let's say it's 300 or maybe 500. So you just gotta make sure that uh, your object is going to be fully revealed. So maybe furthermore 1,000. So it's pretty much like it. This gonna move around. The aleph gonna move around, and whatever is located to the text layer will be visible. But maybe if you want something more, you could add more animation in between. Maybe add animation, add move, add it around here, and then the next animation is going to be in the middle. So the result is pretty much like this. And maybe that's all for my text reveal animation in the tutorial. So that's all from me.
All right, thank you, Khansa, for sharing your experience. Hopefully, the knowledge can be useful for us. And now it's time for us to ask a few questions. So, for the first question, what is masking in Jitter, and why is it important in animation?
Masking in Jitter is a technique that hides or reveals objects to create a smooth and interesting motion effects. It helps make animations look cleaner and more professional.
Okay, for the next question, why should beginners learn masking in Jitter?
Because masking is one of the easiest ways to make your designs feel more dynamic. Even simple text or shapes can look more attractive with motion effects.
Okay, for the next question, is Jitter difficult for beginners who have never made animations before?
Not at all. Jitter is beginner friendly because it has simple interface and works directly on the browser. So it's easy to explore and practice.
All right. For the next question, what kind of animation can we create using masking in Jitter?
You can create text reveal animations, image transitions, smooth object movements, and social media motion content that looks more engaging.
All right. For the next question, what are the common mistakes beginners make when learning masking?
Usually, maybe the timing is too fast, or object placement is messy, or the masking area is not adjusted properly. But these things get easier with practice.
I see. For the next question, do we need advanced design skills to join this session?
Not at all. This session is suitable for beginners. Participants only need basic computer skills and curiosity to learn animations.
All right, guys, that's all from Kansa for today. Let's give her a nice goodbye and thank you so much, Kansa. See ya.
See you.